everyone, this is the Nameless One, and tonight we are going to be doing something a bit different than the usual. I am now starting, this will be the first episode of an Alicorn Discusses podcast. And I have here with me a bunch of creators. The entire idea behind this podcast is I drag a bunch of random creators that you may or may not have heard of off of the internet and onto my stream, and we will discuss topics about the fandom. Before we get started, I want to remind everybody, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, ring the notification bell, check out all the links in the description, and we'll have more on that stuff at the end. For now, we're going to go ahead and run down the line and have everybody introduce themselves. Starting with Wind. Everybody knows who you are, but you're going to introduce yourself, talk about a little bit about what you do, who you are, all that good stuff.
Not gonna lie, I low-key almost forgot who I was.
I expect nothing less.
I'm Windstriker, Brony theorist, extraordinaire. I can't even say that. I make theories on the internet about ponies.
Okay, anything you want to add to that? You know, kind of like you show up on this channel all the time?
Oh, yes, I do that too. Check out the Heart of Darkness. I suck at this. Continue.
Okay, next up we have Peruser of Pieces. Everybody can call him Peruser. Tell us about who you are, what you do. You can add, if you want to, you can add how you got into the fandom.
My name is Peruser of Pieces. I've been in the Brony fandom since early 2011, and I am a plush maker.
For those of you that want to see some of what he does, links again in the description for everybody that's on the call right now. We're going to go ahead and go to Cup.
Yes, hi. Hello, I am Compute, also known as The Real Compute, and I do art and animation, and I just experiment with art in general. My current project I'm working on is this funny little thing called G6 Strive of Greatness. Trying to write this fanfic for a while, but that's pretty much what I'm doing and currently doing.
Okay. So you guys know me. I am the Nameless One. This is my channel, of course. I'm also I run several different servers, one of which includes a server for creators. Again, that will have more information at the end as well. I also do fanfic writing, so a bit more, I guess, credentials for myself. We're actually going to do Melee next because she unmuted and moved in the order.
Yeah, I messed up the system. Hi, I'm Miss Melee, also known as the Hawaiian Horse. I do doodles. And since you said I can talk about how I got into the fandom, they put on what was season 5, they showed us a cult, and I was intrigued, and that's how I've been hooked ever since. Okay, that's me.
Okay, and then
Retreats to the shadows.
Next, we're going to go with Saf.
Greetings! I am Sapphire Sistrian, and I am a sound designer in the fandom. I do a lot of background work with people, making sound effects and music and whatnot. And I'm here because I'm here to torture Compute, but that's basically it. So, yeah.
I feel like you should mention your one major project that you're a part of.
Oh, right. Yeah, I also I own a company called Valiant Studios that's developing a first-person 3D sword-fighting video game called Dimensional Shift, and it is absolutely with ponies, and it's absolutely legal too, so no need to worry about Hasbro with that.
Okay. And last but not least, Ali Luna.
Oh shit. Wow. Okay.
Language. Right off the bat.
Right off the bat.
I am great at concealing the swear. Anyways, hi, I am Aluna, or Ali for short. I do some voice acting. I've been in a couple G5 animatics, as well as a horror game on VR chat. Currently, I am in the process of writing an audio drama, but there's no tell on when that's going to come out, so yeah, that's all about me.
Okay, so for those of you that didn't see the thumbnail or read the title or the description, we're going to be talking about the fandom and the fact that there are some people that still believe the fandom is dead and or dying. And we're going to go around and I'm going to pose a question and people are going to discuss what's going on with that. We're going to start out. I'm going to pick somebody that we're going to talk about their section of the fandom. I'm a bully peruser first.
Of course you are.
So, you're a plush maker. Would
I
you
am.
say that your section of the fandom has been in decline or dying? Is nobody ordering plushes anymore?
Honestly, no. So I've been in the fandom for a really long time. I've been here since 2011, and I've seen a lot of ups and a lot of downs. I've seen a lot of original big names from the early days come and go. And I think that's what people sort of latch onto as saying, like, oh, the fandom's dying, it's disappearing because the ones that were originally here aren't here anymore. But what I've noticed is there's a lot of new makers that are coming in to take their shoes, and they're just as good, if not better, than the ones that came before. They're all building off of the blueprint that was laid originally. And some of the best creations in the history of the fandom are coming out now. We've got artists like Me Plus You, Jack Larson, Rubio Wolf. We have a lot of really talented creators still going. And I wasn't able to make it to this last year's Cider Fest, but the consensus that I heard was there was a lot of people selling out. Business was great, interest was high, people were excited about getting things and seeing new plushies being made. To me, it's my section of the fandom is doing just fine.
So, would you say it's like the larger ones that you're seeing more of, the smaller ones, or just in general all of them?
So there's a lot more demand for life sizes because not many people are willing to make them, but also there's a lot of people that want them. So they're really in demand, and it's really not, like I said, not a lot of people are willing to make a life size, the creators. But a lot of it has to do with people's budgets. Everybody has a different budget, right? So
yes, the economy.
yes, that little thing that gets in everybody's way these days. I've seen people branching out more in terms of the types of plushies that are offered. So usually, you have like a basic standard plushie that's big enough to hug or something like that, and that can be several $100s, even up to $1,000. But that's kind of pricey when you're on a budget and in the middle of a terrible economy. So what I'm noticing a lot of now is people are doing more of like little tiny squishy plushies or the little loaf plushies, or the new thing that I've been seeing that I think it's really cool is the little flat plushy keychains that I've seen people do, where it's just
I think I've seen a few of those.
Yeah, I can't think of the maker right now, but they're super cute. It's like embroidered for the face and the tail, and then it's just flat.
Yeah, I think Hibiscus Stitch does a few of those.
I think that's it.
I think I've seen some at Rubio's table as well.
But it's just branching out into different types of offerings instead of just relying on the big ticket items.
The mega plush.
Right.
Does anybody else have anything that they would like to weigh in for this portion? Any experience with plush makers, whether it's like seeing new creators or stuff like that?
It's not on like plush makers exactly, but just merchandise in general. Just kind of browsing the fandom, I've actually seen more merchandise makers pop up, like Gleamy Dreams is one of them that's popped up recently.
Speaking of merchandise, I know that Melee likes making pins.
Why? Yeah.
Suffer.
But continue your thought first before we hop over to my face.
No, I mean that's really it. Is that I've honestly seen a lot pop up. There's this one that I'll see like on the Derpy Brew ads, and they're selling spices too, which is interesting.
That's not who I was about to ask.
What?
I think there's several that show up. I know. What's his name? Something Ties.
Yeah,
My Little
My
Ties.
Little
Yeah,
Ties.
My
That
Little
dude
Ties.
is really cool.
Yeah, he's got some really cool stuff. But Melee, same
Me.
question for Peruser, but for pins.
Specifically pins.
Yeah.
Well, in my experience, the pin market is touch and go. It's not really about the expense, because for some reason, a lot of people are willing to spend a lot of money on pins, and all power to them. But it's touch and go in regards of who it is, who's on the pin, because you can't expect people to want to go out and get like a cranky doodle donkey pin just because that one person wanted it. You gotta, on the pins front, it's all about who your audience is. And I've had a couple ups and downs on what pins I make and what sells. But for the most part, you know, I mostly engage with people who get stuff from me and see like who they want and all that. I don't. Am I even answering the question right?
You don't do the big batch pins as much.
I used to, but then when I started doing that, I noticed a decline in interest, and I had to take like a step back and ow! I just popped my elbow. I'm sorry.
It's fine. I would imagine that like part of that is because like as a pin collector myself, and I think I have at least one or two of yours, but as a pin collector myself, I like you can find people making just about anything you want to look for, but nobody really does that. Like, yes, I want the specific thing. So like things like OC pins and stuff like that. Like
those are difficult to like get done because most people have to go to because you have to buy them in bulk and send it to like a manufacturer for the most part. Like
unless you do them yourself.
Yes, unless you do them yourself, but no one really has that kind of setup in their backyard.
Yeah.
Yeah, not for the enamel pins, because that's
enamel.
You could do like the buttons, which is probably what Saf was originally thinking of.
Yeah.
But Melee does enamel pins mostly in art.
Yeah.
I have also made one enamel pin and sold it on Etsy. It was continue?
No, it was a cough. You're good.
Oh. It didn't really do too well. In fact, I believe I still have 30 of the pins in stock. It was kind of like a parody of like Pony Life. I took one of the frames from the teaser for Pony Life, and it was Fluttershy waving her arms, and there was a text underneath. Yeah, and it had text underneath that just said "good as hell."
I remember that one.
That was me.
Hell yeah, it's one of my favorites.
Oh, that sounds cute. I might want one.
Dude, it's so freaking cute.
So, just to interject here real quick for the audience, if you guys also have questions, feel free to post them in the chat. I have moderators that are collecting any questions that seem to fit for what we're doing right now. So we will get to those at the end. And if you want to have priority, check out my Patreon. Because we are doing this in my Patreon server on a stage where Patreons will get their questions prioritized. Anyways.
Just saying, you should definitely ask Windstriker Brony what he had for breakfast.
Yes, I would like to know this as well.
Anyways,
It's something
But,
made of
yes.
flesh. That's all we know.
I think the next the next person we are going to torment is Saf, actually. So, Saf, I know you do game dev, and you also help me quite a bit with doing the actual, like the moderating for the Creator Hub server that we have, as well as on top of that, you do a site called Daily Dose of Pony. So you have a very specific view of like how big the new influx of people is. So why don't you tell us about that?
Okay, so the game dev thing is interesting. I guess I'll just tackle those one at a time. The game dev thing is interesting because while, personally it actually is sometimes really hard to find people who like do the same stuff, there are servers out there that people can join, and I've been seeing a much bigger influx of game developers. There's one called Pony Games that used to have it only felt like there were like 5 or 6 active projects at the time, which nowadays it seems like there's more like 10 or 12, and they're mainly smaller ones. But it's small devs that are gaining more experience and finally, going through college and making stuff that they've been wanting to make this whole time, Then I'm not going to touch on the Creator Hub, but
yeah, we'll do that. I'll do that.
That one's interesting, but Daily Dose of Pony. So just for some context for those in the audience, dailydoseofpony.com is a site that I developed alongside Compute here as a competitor to Equestria Daily, because I got very, very sick and tired of Equestria Daily not posting relevant fandom content, and also, at the same time, when they did post fandom content, it was only like the most popular stuff, and it was always like a week later, right? So I got really tired of that. Once I started it, I started it with the expectation that there was more content out there that would definitely be shown. I did not expect to be so overwhelmed as we were with the amount of content that there is out there. And I'm not talking about content that was submitted to us. We actually had very few things submitted to us because we're not well known. We just started 6 months ago. But just, subscription feeds, manipulating the YouTube algorithm to actually show us new Pony content and Brony content and not just official Hasbro garbage. And also being in places like the Creator Hub or multiple servers and actually checking the self-promo chats. It's almost like people put their creations there. This fandom is extremely active. It's extremely active. And I used to believe, honestly, that the fandom was in a little bit of a recession. But after that happened, I was like, man, this is too much. We're not even able to keep up with it on Daily Dose of Pony because we don't have enough writers. So it was certainly an interesting situation. So for me, the verdict is absolutely not. The fandom is not dead.
Okay.
That's right. That was the question.
Speaking of newer creators, Wind, you haven't been in the fandom that too terribly long, but you have had a pretty decent view of some of the newer creators popping up.
Yes, I have. I've only been in the fandom for I think 3 years now. Going on 3 years.
You and me joined about the same time, I think.
Baby.
No, you joined. You were there before me.
So probably by 6 months.
Around there, maybe. I don't know. But yeah, I haven't been here too long,
But
yeah. Would you say it's just about the same amount of time as Star Strike?
Actually, Star Strike's been in less time than Wind as a creator, at least.
Yeah, Star Strike. From what I gathered, Star Strike started making YouTube videos before I did, but somehow our OCs look so similar. So
so Star Strike was before you.
Yeah, Star Strike was before me, and then I didn't know who Star Strike was until someone brought it to my attention. So, Yeah.
Congratulations.
So I'm going to ask you a bit of a different question than I've asked the others so far, and the others can weigh in afterwards. But what made you decide that now was the time to start making content instead of like back in like 2013 or like what most people consider the heyday of the fandom?
I like how I'm watching your stream and then an ad popped up.
Oof.
But okay, so because like back when I was younger, I was invited into the fandom by some friends, some personal friends of mine, but I didn't want to join it. But what made me really feel like making content for the fandom now, honestly, I really just wanted to get my theories out there and be heard. That's one of the main reasons, but I also wanted to, because before when I first joined, I thought the fandom was dying as well. I legitimately thought it was dying. And then as I started making more and more videos and getting to know more and more people within it, like you, Doc, Starstrike, all of them. I started to realize that there's a lot of people in it, like including people that even make theories. Like there's Drees, DJ Axel, Scorpio Gotcha. All of them are making theories these days. Well, every now and then some of them, but still they're making theories. Starstrike is one of the well-known ones as well. Still consider him my rival, but you know. But yeah. It's just I felt like I wanted to actually get my own thoughts out there. You know?
Yeah. So next we're going to give Allie her turn to chat. So Allie, you do voice acting. From your perspective, like, are there more or less projects than previously? When did you join the fandom?
1,000 years ago.
On a cold winter night.
When did
September.
Twilight become an
In a galaxy
Alicorn?
far, far away.
That answers my question.
2013.
There you go.
But I wasn't really creating until like I don't know, like a year ago, but even then I don't really actively create. I just view others or help others with their stuff, if that makes sense. But there have been actually quite a few voice acting projects that I've seen. I'm in a smaller creator server, and I just see casting call after casting call of, I need this voice, I need that voice. And, like, it's very much not dead. It's just the type of content that is being made currently doesn't appeal to most people.
Yes.
So...
What do you mean by that?
Sonic X MLP.
Okay, never mind.
Wait,
Yeah, I can kind of understand that one if I'm being entirely honest on that.
I'm so confused.
So here's a big question for everybody, because I've heard this sentiment before a few times, and it seems to have kind of, let's say, proliferated throughout sections of the fandom. But 2019, BronyCon finally ended.
Done.
Would you consider that as something that might have started the death of the fandom?
No.
Not at all.
And actually, I think I remember hearing rumors that they were gonna try and like bring it back or whatever. I just think it, part of me wonders like how much the economy has actually affected like the purchasing side of the fandom, because like a lot of people probably don't travel to cons anymore that would have beforehand because of the economy and whatnot. And the economy was already starting to get kind of bad in 2019 for a lot of people. So it probably could have been that.
This question was me being a bit of a devil's advocate for that, but I actually have a bit more of an insight for that. So does Melee. With conventions, honestly, they're just growing. Like all of the little ones that nobody really knew about have been popping up more and more. I know for HarmonyCon, Melee and I are both on that. I'm not remembering wrong. Melee, are you community guest or are you just vending?
I'm just vending. I'm not that special.
Oh yeah, it was Rubio that's also a community guest, but I'm a community guest for HarmonyCon for the second year in a row, and I'm finding that like originally I think there was maybe 15 community guests that were supposed to show up this like last year's HarmonyCon. This year they have, I think it was 32.
Yeah.
The musician side of it as well, like they've got a lot of really big popular names showing up to HarmonyCon, and my like looking in on some of the other chats for the other conventions, they're not hitting any problems. In fact, some of them are setting records as far as like donations for charity auctions, for attendance.
Yeah, I think Ciderfest Ciderfest, I think it was like over 100,000.
Yeah,
for their charity auction.
They set the record for their charity auction at 100K.
Yeah, that was huge.
Well, that was the record for all Brony conventions ever.
All the conventions. That's the record for all the conventions.
They have become the benchmark. That is the goal to hit. So, despite how some people are like, "Oh, BronyCon's over. Bronies must be over."
No,
it's definitely not. And speaking from experience, Wynn, what were you gonna say?
I was just gonna say it's kind of just like I'd say we're getting more people. You know, more people into the fandom than before.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I agree with that.
With the addition of G5, it does seem like we've got a lot more people coming in to like a good example of a creator that everybody should totally go check out. Larovin is an up-and-coming creator. He's got some really awesome quality videos, but like popped up out of nowhere, exploded, and has been doing well ever since.
I'm just going to add to that. When you say popped up out of nowhere, that's a very, very accurate. Like, we were friends for like, I think, almost a year. And I think he had just become a Brony and just met like other pony friends and whatnot. And he came to HarmonyCon and was like really inspired and started making videos and like 2,000 subscribers in like what, 2 months?
It was, yeah, I remember as a creator, I remember seeing that and I'm like, holy crap, what am I missing that he has? Because that is ridiculous.
He's got the stuff, I'll tell you that. He's pretty fancy.
Yeah, in order to like get to where I was just to get the initial 1,000 was I used other creators that I was friends with that we were at the time doing some somewhat similar content, and I still do lots of collabs. I love doing collabs with people, but circling back around to the convention thing, I also want to mention that not only do we have all of the existing conventions, but there have been some new ones that have popped up. Over COVID, there were a lot of online ones that started, and then the more recent one in Florida that I'm not going to specifically mention, but if you know who they are, you know who they are.
Yeah, let's not talk about that.
Yeah.
But we've got new conventions popping up as well. So, like, the convention scene is most certainly not dead.
Very much not so.
Both Melee... both Melee and Peruser, since they make physical items as, like, one of their primary things, Melee's going to HarmonyCon. I couldn't convince Peruser to do it because something to do with money. But both of them have vended at conventions in the past, and Melee is going to be doing so in the future. I would imagine so is Peruser, as long as monetary things line up.
Oh yeah, I've got conventions planned for this year. I'm planning on TrotCon and I'm planning on Ciderfest at the moment.
Yay!
And HarmonyCon next year?
HarmonyCon next year, yes.
Hey, Melee, do you have an online shop? Or
I
is it
do.
just send?
See, I'm gonna touch on this for a bit. Speaking on just the vendor standpoint, people save up every year to go to conventions. They put it in their budgets, and yeah, the economy is crap, but every year I sell out of things. Sometimes on day one, and I don't see anything changing for that anytime soon because it's yeah.
I could actually add to that with as somebody who is a attendee rather than a vendor, even as a community guest. But like when you go to a convention, you want to figure out what you want and get it day one because 9 times out of 10 they're out of half of the stuff.
Yeah, plushies.
Especially like by day two. By day two, just about everything's gone.
Everything's gone.
Day 3, they're like, I've got
The
some.
scraps.
I've got this thing that I didn't think I could sell, but like I have nothing else to put out here, so here you go.
That's very true.
Yeah.
As a vendor, as a longtime vendor, there's always a pattern to it. So Friday morning when the hall opens is always the biggest rush.
It's the rush.
Everybody rushes to your table. They know like they see all the cool stuff. They're like, "Oh, I want the cool thing," and then they take that. And in my case, all the cool stuff is one of a kind. So like when it sells, it's gone. And then 9 times out of 10, my table is pretty barren after Friday. If I do happen to have anything left, for me personally, I'd be curious to hear what Melee's status is on this. But for me, I do the bulk of my sales on Friday. Saturday is always kind of the dead day, which is surprising because that's usually the day that the most people are there. And then Sunday, I always make one last sale on like the final hour of Sunday. It's always somebody that has somehow made it to the end of the con and they realize they still have money that they haven't spent yet, and they're panicking because the convention's almost over, and they're like, I need something, that'll do. And then they do one last panic purchase because they're running out of time. But that's usually how it goes. Definitely the big rush on Friday.
For sure.
Yeah, so is that the same way for you too, Melee, or is it more like
yes. The first thing when I first put out my pillows for the first time, I advertised the snot out of those on Twitter, and it's the first time I've ever done it. So everyone was just like, "Okay, I'm gonna get this. I'm gonna get this. I'm gonna get this." I only had 9, so having like 30 people say, "I'm gonna come snag this." Yes, that was Friday. I sold out of my pillows on Friday.
Whew.
So and a couple, along with a couple of other pins that I had put out that day as like a debut for something. Yes. So Friday is the rush day, and it's very weird that Saturday is the dead day. That's where like people, like families, show up with like their kids, and their kids are looking at everything and be like, "Can I have this? Can I have that?" And they're like, "Why is it so quiet?" So Saturday is the day. It's
probably also
unreal.
because everybody's going to panic.
And it feels bad because like my table will be mostly empty. I've had in my earlier days my table would just be empty because I would have nothing left. Now I'm a little smarter about it, and I'm like, well, thank you, but thank you. Now I'm a little smarter about it. I'll bring some plushies that are not for sale just so I can put them on the table and be like, hey, this is what I make. They're not for sale, but you can still look at something. Because otherwise I don't have anything left. And then I can still have like a conversation with people about, this is my work. You can see it. You can touch it. Like, instead of just an empty table, because that doesn't look good,
Display only cardboard cutout.
Yeah, just like all my stuff is gone.
You'd be surprised. I've seen people that would buy stuff like that just because it was at the con.
Yes.
But
speaking of, I wanted to ask. This is kind of off topic, but I wanted to ask both of you, what is the weirdest thing that you've sold at a con that you weren't intending to sell?
Okay, there's a story to this, but let me get my story straight because it happened a couple of years ago, but I still remember it.
Okay.
The weirdest... Okay, no, this actually was last year at Everfree. Felt this. Yeah. So... I made a crap ton of stickers because I asked everybody on Twitter, like, what do you want to see from me? And people said stickers, and I didn't have any, so I made a lot. And one of them was Whoa Nelly. Now, people, you don't see Whoa Nelly on anything, so people were like, oh, that's cool, stickers. Didn't sell not one Friday or Saturday, so I was confused. And then this one dude, it was like a pack of 50. This one dude just came up to me that last day on a Sunday, and he was asking about the stickers. I'm like, yeah, I have them. He's like, can I have all of them? He sees the stack of 50. He asked if he can have all of them, and I said, go for it. He paid me like $50 for all 50, and I'm like, that was
Something?
great. So I was like, all right,
Media told
great.
out.
I guess that counts as what Bruiser said, an impulse buy on the last day. So, but he said he was going to give them out to his friends, and I'm like, okay, well, I guess something for everybody. But that
Well,
was
that's pretty cool.
Not
that
gonna
was cool, but
lie,
it was still strange.
I'd probably do the same if it was the last day of a con and I was there. Like, I would.
You
I'd
buy
go
my whole
bankrupt.
inventory of stickers?
I had to lose so much
I would.
money.
Look, I mean, the stickers got to go somewhere. They're either going home with you or they're going around the con.
Yeah.
And they're
Yeah.
going on a lamppost. Just
Oh
believe it.
yeah.
Oh yeah, I remember HarmonyCon every year that I've gone. They had the previous venue, the one that are not using this year, but they've used the past 2 years. They had a robot, and the robot was a security robot. There was actually one point that the security robot blocks the entire road for no reason whatsoever. But one of the things that you'd see when you're like throughout the con is the thing would be covered in stickers.
Oh my gosh, the poor
That's one
poor
way to get-
staff.
That's one way to get stickers banned from cons, like at BabsCon.
Yeah,
That's
that's fine.
because of that, you can't sell stickers at BabsCon. That's one way to
Oof.
ruin the fun for everybody else.
Can't
Don't do
have
that.
nice things.
Yes. Let's not do this to this nice new Hilton hotel that's above the ball.
So,
no.
Yeah, let's not do that.
This isn't the same as stickers, but at last year's TrotCon, apparently the theme this time around was somebody went around with a bunch of little rubber duckies. And when I say little, I mean like the size of your pinky nail. Like they were tiny. And they would put them in random places around the con, and you would just see them. And they would be in the most inauspicious places, at the top of a staircase, on the edge of a picture frame hanging on the wall. Somehow, someone got one up inside the letters on the outside of the building, like for the name of the convention center. It was like
Gosh.
12
This is-
feet up in the air. I don't know how they got it
Why?
up there.
This is precious.
And I never saw this one, but I heard about it. Someone stuck one inside the emergency fire pole thing.
Oh
Oh.
my gosh.
Like the thing you're supposed to lift up and then you pull the fire thing. Yeah, they put one in there, and that wasn't cool.
No.
But yeah, I have a feeling there's still some hidden rubber duckies around that con center that people haven't found yet.
Please rubber
Probably.
duck responsibly.
Okay, so we're gonna
ducking
shift
con.
gears a bit. Cup, Allie, and Melee, all of you do art, right? I don't know if Allie does commissions or not. I can't actually remember.
Allie does not.
Allie does not. Okay,
Allie
then I
does.
guess
Dabble
in the
inferior.
art.
then this is for Cup and Melee then.
Yeah, I dabble.
So, as artists, how often do you, like, compared to, like, previous years, back, say, like, early fandom, however early that is for you two, how often would you say you see commissions then compared to now? Like, is it the same? You see more now? Did you see more then?
Mine have dropped significantly from when I started doing commissions like 2 or 3 years ago to now. Like I used to, I think I can even look back because I have a log. but 2 or 3 years ago, especially during holiday seasons when people would like want YCHs for their OCs, I'd get consistently like maybe 30 to 40 between Halloween, Christmas, and a New Year's YCH. So that's like, now I barely get like, the past YCHs I put out the past 3 or 4 years. I think I've only gotten 2. And it sucks because, you know, I've improved my art and my craft 2 years from now, and I want to see cool OCs in my stuff. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I want people to be. I want that. And
does everybody hear that?
Oh no, Christ! Yes, I want that.
I want to see my OC.
Yes. But yeah, it's been a significant downturn on my end, at least, and Who?
Granted, there is a lot of competition in that.
Very much so. Yes, a lot of. That's what the art fandom is not dead. I've seen a lot of new people come into the fandom with their stuff, and I'm like, their stuff sells. Their stuff sells because they're so brand new, and everyone wants to see stuff in their style, and it's like, yeah.
I mean, you just got to look at the Derpy Brew statistics. It's insane how much
I'm not on
is
Derpy
uploaded
Brew.
to them all the time. You should be.
Hold
It's
on,
one of the-
you really should be.
It's really what it is
Yeah.
the biggest fandom art site.
It is actually quite huge. I've been on and off looking at stuff on that. Hold on just a sec. Cup, are you there? Can we
I'm
hear you?
here.
Okay.
I'm just
You
struggling
just-
to get a word in. I'm so sorry.
Okay, well, it's your turn.
Words are hard. It's okay.
Feel free to interject. You guys, this is open forum. If you guys got things to say, then say them.
I know.
Banana bread.
Pumpkin
That's
pie.
my thing to say.
But
Sushi.
I did pose you a question, Cup, so it's your turn to talk.
Yes. I mean, commissions have been just difficult for me in general, especially since the age of AI.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's been really difficult to try to like get my name out there with like my art in general. However, I do have more people asking me rather than, me essentially begging for commissions in a sense.
Okay.
So that's at least a benefit with how the fandom is, but it's still like, as big as the fandom is, there's still a bit of a problem when it comes to the art scene with commissions, at least in my perspective.
And I will be specifically doing I think probably the next Alicorn Discuss is going to be on AI in the voice acting and art scene.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Let me into that.
Immediately.
I know quite a few people that have very passionate thoughts on this, so we will be having quite a few people for that. But for now, we touched on it. Let's keep moving with the fandom related stuff.
Yes.
Specifically.
Well, real quick though, on that, funnily enough, one of the place where I see a lot of new artists coming out of is also the place where I see a lot of AI art coming out of, which is /MLP on 4chan. There's a lot of new artists because a lot of people want to draw ponies for themselves. Then, of course, they're also the ones developing a lot of the AI stuff too, so it's a weird situation, but there are a lot of new artists in the fandom that I've seen just pop out of there.
Funnily enough, it seems like a lot of people are going back to like what is essentially the roots of the Brony fandom. From what I've been seeing, is there's a lot more people going to places like /MLP and the slightly more well-behaved sibling r/MLP.
Okay, hold on. What is /MLP
Yes.
and what is
So-
r/MLP?
Yes, explain
So
this to me. I don't even know this.
Well,
/MLP is the board that was created on 4chan when Bronies. So Bronies actually originate off of 4chan. We started out as just like a group of people that were just like, yeah, this is a cool show, and then it got big, and then it got really big,
and then they banned it, and then they made a containment board.
Yeah, they essentially there was so much pony stuff everywhere that they finally gave up and just gave the Bronies the /MLP board to keep them somewhat contained.
Ponies everywhere.
Our /MLP is just like the Reddit version of it, which means it's slightly better behaved, but only marginally.
I remember, like, okay, just kind of on that, the parallel between those two. So I did a live stream for Valiant Studios after we did our last update video. We were going to talk about the development of the game and whatnot, and even show the development of the game. And we were going to do it on Discord, /MLP and r/MLP, and r/MLP, basically nobody came. There was no activity whatsoever. I'm pretty sure Compute was like the most active human being in that chat. And then on /MLP, it was extremely active. It was vulgar. I didn't like that, but it was very active.
It was not safe for YouTube.
No, it was not safe for YouTube, and my poor team. Oh gosh, not doing that again.
Yeah, I've found that like 4chan seems to react to everything with violence. It doesn't matter what it is; it's just extreme violence.
I'm not going to get deep into it, but I was on 4chan for years. I know the culture. It's in many ways it's just a different culture. It's not the big bad that people like always put it out to be, but it's certainly not for me anymore.
4chan is definitely capable of some really impressive things that are good, but because of the type of community it harbors, it's also incredibly capable of the exact opposite.
Like, are we talking Fallout Equestria kind of violent?
No, we're talking like incels.
Oh, my lamb.
Delicious.
Well,
Is that the kind of
incels
meat
and
we eat? Is that the
Mareskizzes.
flesh?
But
Is that the flesh we're eating?
Is that the flesh we're eating? The flesh of incels?
Well, I mean,
Tastes salty.
Wait, what's an...
we're not getting
what?
into
No,
that.
never
We're not
mind.
getting into that.
No,
You-
no,
okay.
no.
you can look that up on Google, my friend.
I'm good. I don't need
think I will.
whatever it is, I don't need that in my search history. You know?
It's in your mind, though.
If I may go back to the convention scene,
Sure.
the pandemic definitely spawned a lot of things with the fandom. Like, like in 2019, the ending of BronyCon was major, and many people were thinking that the fandom was going to die off. And then the pandemic hit, and it was even more of a concern with the fandom, right? And like you said earlier, the idea of like the online convention scene started popping up. And as that sort of happened, Ponytown decided to collaborate with some of the convention scenes to create, spaces for people to go to online conventions without, being there physically in person. And believe it or not, that actually grew the fandom as a result as well, because those spaces of them doing those Ponytown events, ironically enough, was a very fun, experience. And I got to partake in that a lot, especially during the time of the pandemic. It was very much a comfort for me to like go to those spaces and go to like the Discord servers for the conventions and be able to experience things in a whole different way. I feel like I still felt like I was connecting with people even though I wasn't physically there.
I'm just saying, this girl was like a rave maniac. And
I will also note that like you'd think that like people would see those like online convention spaces and go, oh, that's not for me, I want to be there in person. No, like people go nuts for that. I've seen people at the convention in Ponytown on their phones so that they can take part in both.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's
pivot-
really fun. Even like when you're just sitting there like with your friends, it's still like a fun little experience. And like they would host different events in the Discord server sometimes with some of the like
the
I remember
musicians
one
are a big
time-
one.
Yeah, with the musicians with I remember one time, I think I can't remember which con it was, but we were all in like a VC together, and freaking Ellie Ray of all people came into the VC. We were all like,
Whoa.
it was insane. It was like so enlightening and fun, and I was able to like.
Ellie Ray's a beautiful person.
Yeah, right. She was so precious.
Slight side note on her, like, if she is at a convention and you set something down for long enough, she will sign it.
Yeah, she will.
That
She signed
woman is
someone's
just
face.
like,
She signed someone's face at Ciderfest.
And
She
she
was-
is made of glitter. She
she,
will throw glitter everywhere.
good lord, yes. The,
She's beautiful.
at
I'm so happy we
Harmony,
have her in the fandom.
at Harmony Con, when I was there and she was one of the guests of honor, you could not go 5 steps without finding something she had signed. Just the most random thing. There was a bread roll that was sold at the charity auction that she had signed.
What?
She's the new Larson. She just signs everything.
Like, it's not even a joke. She signed absolutely everything that was within reach. Like,
I kinda
literally,
wonder-
they were
It's like
talking
free
about
autographs.
they were talking about it. They set something down nearby, and she had signed it when they picked it back up. I think it was like
That's
a
real
bike helmet.
Pinkie Pie
It's
energy.
like a ghost in the wind. You don't know she's there until she was there.
She's also the nicest person too, though.
She's so sweet.
Oh, she absolutely is. Yes.
I remember 2022 HarmonyCon. That was my first HarmonyCon, and just seeing her like just sit there like surrounded by bronies all around her, just sitting there watching the MLP movie it was so fun.
She absolutely adores the fandom. But
She should
back to
become
you.
part of the fandom.
Back to you, Cup.
Yeah. Yeah, like those online convention scenes was really intriguing. And I feel like that as a result also grew the fandom a good bit because despite the moment of, isolation that everyone was in, it didn't necessarily falter the amount of people who wanted to be with each other. And that audience is still there to this day. Like, there's still Ponytown events happening every single convention week, those who collaborate with Ponytown. And those numbers are still up there. Like, yes, it was majorly high when when COVID and such was hit, but nowadays, like, there's still a good chunk of people who happen to attend Ponytown as well as in person with those world-breaking, attendees and such. Like, it's crazy. Like, the fandom's not dead. I'm like, that's what we're here to.
It's not dead.
But it's really not. There is so much out there, and it's crazy. Like, I'm happy that there's so much more opportunity now than there was then.
I
Yeah,
remember
and
there was a week. Oh, go ahead.
I'm just going to add on to what Cups was saying. Part of the reason that like the online conventions were such a good thing for the fandom is it lowers the bar to entry for a lot of the conventions. Because I know a lot of people that want to go to conventions, but they don't have one near them. They don't have the money to go to them. They don't have a place to stay so that they can go to them. It's too expensive is like the biggest one. Or it's like they're in a country that doesn't have them. I've seen like there are a lot of European ones, a lot of American ones. There's an Australian one. There's even a couple of Asian ones. I think they're mostly in Japan. But it's still like you have to go to a place, set aside at least 3 days worth of time, and then also set aside the money so that you're able to pay for everything. But like with I'm gonna call out PonyCon online or Ponyfest online. Like there's also Ponies online. Like both of them, like you don't have to be anywhere. You can do that from the comfort of your own armchair at home.
Absolutely. I remember there was a time, and I honestly, like, this is what I meant by she's a rave maniac. Compute would go to the things all the time online, and it was as if there was like a Ponytown event almost every week. It felt like for a while there. It was ridiculous.
It was pretty
how much stuff
close
was going on.
Because I was also following the con scene during that. Because like I had plans after, because I caught the very last Everfree Northwest before everything was shut down for COVID, and I was like, I want to go to HarmonyCon, and I had plans. I was planning to save the money, and then everything shut down, and it was kind of terrible, honestly. I also expect to see a lot more people this year at HarmonyCon, because all of the restrictions are gone. There's no as far as they have announced, there is no mask mandates. There is no nothing. You don't even have to bring the
COVID test.
Yeah,
Really?
Certificate.
yeah,
Yes, finally.
yeah. Because like one of the biggest things for me the past two HarmonyCons was like I had to scramble to figure out where I could get a test within the amount of time that they specified, as well as like making sure that like I'm not paying like $200 for it.
Yeah, on that, for the record, Nameless, last year what I did is there was like an online service called like Azira or something.
So
And basically what
funny
they would do is you would take the test in front of them on camera and they would just make
we
sure
did
you did it right.
me and Fair did that. We sat in front of the camera for it, and he brought like free tests that he had gotten his hands on. I don't even actually remember how he got them, but like he had them and he brought them to my place and we tested in front of them and got that done. But like now that it's like not even a thing to worry about anymore, that I could only see that helping the numbers, honestly.
Absolutely.
Absolutely, yes.
I'm gonna be honest, guys. Like hearing all of this stuff about HarmonyCon, I kind of want to go.
You should.
Well, you
Same,
should.
but I can't.
Who saw you chose? You chose, Ali Luna.
I did not choose.
You
I
chose.
bought the tickets for Everfree Northwest first.
You could have chosen HarmonyCon.
I didn't realize
Like half a year
it was
away from each other.
cool. Well, yes,
did-
but
What?
also
You
I
didn't
am
realize
of
it was cool, but me and Saf basically always go to it now.
We literally, one of the reasons why the Creator Hub happened was because of HarmonyCon.
Wait,
See,
really?
I'm
I
excited, 'cause this is my
didn't
first
talk to you
HarmonyCon.
guys as much.
Whose fault is that? Yours.
Shaming Allie aside,
Shame.
Allie, would you like to say anything? It doesn't matter if it's been talked about already or not.
I can't. Earlier, I was intrigued with the vendor talk because I was thinking of the possibility of me making merchandise and being a vendor at the
Do it.
convention I'm going to, but I'm not entirely set on it. So,
Well, if it's your
it was just
first
interesting
convention-
hearing, yeah, I
If
know.
Yeah, I would always recommend for those of you that are in the audience thinking of going to a convention, maybe as a guest or as a vendor, I would say go to your first convention and just enjoy yourself. Because,
Yes.
and this is going to be from personal experience, Brony conventions are unlike any convention out there. I've been to anime conventions, I have been to Comic-Cons, both big and small. There is nothing like the community that is a Brony convention. The music is different, the feel is different, everybody is just so open and happy to see everybody. The panels are such a blast. As a panelist for last HarmonyCon and will be for this HarmonyCon, hopefully all three of them, but like two of them got waitlisted. We'll see. I will be invading other people's panels, whether they want me to or not in some cases. But yeah, as somebody who has done conventions for quite a while, there's nothing like a Brony convention, and there probably never will be. So if you decide you want to go to a convention, do try it first, like as just an attendee, so you can soak in the experience, and then as I have experienced, it's basically all up from there.
And just to add to that, I've talked to other friends too who have said the same thing, that like Brony conventions don't compare. And I think part of it is just because we're all united, unlike the fact that we like Pony. I mean, you could just walk up to someone. Yeah, you could just walk up to someone and be like, "Hey, what's your favorite pony?" And then they could say Twinkle Shine, and you could say, "Who is that?" Because, I don't know. Because we're all generations now. We're not just G4
that one
anymore.
person likes Twinkle Shine.
Yes.
And that's so true, because I went to my first anime convention just a couple years ago. And to echo some things that Nameless was saying, it was very large. It was like 6,000 people. But the energy there was so different. It felt so distant. It made me realize that, like, everybody here likes anime, but not everybody here likes the same anime.
So this is going to be a bit of a Nameless flex to follow up on that. I've been to them in Japan. I've been to like the source, and they still feel like it's like walking through a museum rather than walking through a convention. Is what it's a convention in the business sense, less so than like the personal sense that you get from like a HarmonyCon. And even like the really small Comic-Cons I've been to, they still have like, it's basically the important part is the vendor hall, and then like everything else, like most of the panels, like you'll occasionally get some that at least sound interesting, but like they don't have the personal flair that you see from say HarmonyCon, for example. And Brony conventions are just so much different.
Me special.
But yeah, I think that now is a good time to open up the floor to some of the people in the chat. We're gonna start. We actually do have some Patreons in the stage right now, so if you guys have questions, feel free to put them in the chat, and then we'll move to YouTube if Ice Yoshi or Fair have collected any questions that are actually any good for that.
Oh my gosh, those pins are adorable.
Do please remember to ask Windstriker what he had for breakfast. We're still trying to figure that out.
We're still wondering what that is.
What did I have for breakfast?
You don't even know?
Should we just put up a poll to decide what you had for breakfast?
I forgot.
We were just told that it was a flesh sack, apparently.
Something fleshy.
I don't want to think about that, man.
Yeah.
I will take Cameo's word on it, since Cameo is dating Wind. So
really,
whatever the flesh sack is, we don't have to talk about that, okay?
Anyways,
we do.
Do we have any actual questions pertaining to what we've been talking about from the audience?
And for those who just joined, we're talking about whether or not the fandom is dead. It's in the title.
Yeah.
We got some people typing. Ice may have some for us. Wind, you don't get to ask questions. You're literally in the chat.
Technically, a hot dog or a sausage is a flesh sack.
Ew.
You're not wrong.
We don't need to continue this.
Wouldn't that be a meat
I don't
sack?
like
Yes,
let's
let's not with the flesh sacks or anything like that. Let's just not.
Shack?
No questions collected.
It doesn't
See.
look like.
You want to build a snowman?
What are your thoughts on Lauren Faust taking MLP back? I don't think that's going to happen.
I don't think that's going to happen, and I also don't think that it would be as good as people think it might be.
There's a reason why Lauren Faust left the show, and while we don't fully know that reason, the thing is that the show didn't exactly get worse when she did leave.
My understanding is she's really good at starting stories, but she's not so great at finishing them.
I'm going to be honest.
She's got good world building and stuff like that, but there are certain things that she does that kind of ruin it for certain audiences.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that because she did a great job in starting MLP G4, but as far as I think she mainly didn't she mainly leave, didn't she walk off the show or something?
Something like
If
that.
I remember.
I don't actually remember. I actually have another question here from Cameo. For dealing with people in the fandom and cross gens, do you see a notable difference between how folks are with each generation?
Cup, I'm throwing you under the bus for that one. You talk to people from all types of generations.
Oh god. That I guess that really depends. There is a notable I don't know if I could say larger, more noticeable community of older gen fans now. Comparative to before when it was, at least for me, very difficult to find. Nowadays I can casually find one or two or maybe even three major posts relating to the older gen stuff like G1 and G3. So what was it in relation to?
I mean, honestly, if you're doing anything in relation to other gens, it's probably in relation to G4. The one that everybody knows.
So just to piggyback off that, I will say I have had people approach me to ask if I would make plushies for G1 characters before.
I would love that.
I am totally up for that. None of them have gone through yet, I'll say, but I have gotten people interested enough to ask. I've had several people ask about Minty. I didn't know Minty was still popular.
Minty's 100% popular.
Wasn't she just in a Christmas special in G3?
Yeah, I think so. No.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was a very minty Christmas.
Yeah, I remember it was the sock song.
Merch.
But she's so popular.
Yeah, she's actually in recent merch that came out from G5. I forgot what the set was called, but it was
Cameo is exploding in the chat.
Yep.
I need to
It's Cameo.
We'll go ahead and let Cameo. Cameo, I think you need to raise your hand for that. So let Cameo have a quick word.
I'm scared.
Okay, I'm gonna say this calmly. No, she wasn't just in the Minty Christmas movie. That was her main appearance, but she has had multiple appearances through G3. She's also had some comics around her as well. Another thing is that Minty has also popped up in G4 as a background character, and if I'm not mistaken, also within G5. Minty is credited to giving the fandom an obsession with socks.
Yeah, remember that thing I did in the chat, Nameless, where I had it my whatchamacallit thing that I was doing was wearing socks.
So I remember Minty in G4 because she sort of looked like an Applejack recolor. The design that she had. I would like some expoundment on the socks thing. How did she popularize the socks thing?
So, in a very Minty Christmas, her main thing was that she really loved socks. And because she broke the Christmas candy tree, she was just like, Santa can't find Ponyville, so let me be Santa. She was giving people socks and hanging them near the thing. So essentially, she started that tradition within the Pony universe.
That sounds adorable.
I have to hang socks now.
She literally...
Wait, that's what stockings are.
Doing stockings, yeah. She's the tradition of stockings.
Alright, that is now officially canon in the Pony universe.
I am looking up
England,
a very Minty Christmas on DVD now.
So,
G3 also has a few other, is the one that popularized the term cutie mark. They were the first generation to use that. And
I'm being schooled right now. I love it.
Alpha Biddle, the gray unicorn in G5, is named after a bright pony from G3. Scootaloo, Cheerilee, and Sweetie Belle are also from G3.
Oh yeah, I knew that.
Hold on.
Yes,
hold on.
there's like
And Tularula.
Hold on a second.
and Tularula, and there's a lot of things that carried on from G3.
Hold on. So,
Unfortunately,
even
the fact
in-
that Rainbow Dash dressed in style did not carry on, but you know.
yeah.
Yeah,
I got
rarity.
I got
Oddly
a
enough,
quick
she
I was
one of
gonna
the
continue the song, but I forgot
Question?
it.
Yeah, I got a quick question. Minty was back in G3. I mean G4 as
Yeah.
well as G5.
Well,
Background fodder.
the one that was featured in the show, the like for example in Make Your Mark, that Minty was G1 Minty.
She was a fake. A
No.
fraud. Disgusting.
G1 Minty and G3 Minty is two different characters. G1 Minty is green with white hair, while G3 Minty is pink hair with blue.
And of course, there's
Oh,
also
there's
Minty
different-
Root, which is
We are getting
white with
so
green
off
hair.
topic.
Shut up.
So I'm
never
gonna
mind this.
I'm gonna
Never
wrestle
mind.
this back. Thank you for Cameo for the
Yes.
question and the clarification.
Thank you for the cameo.
And the fun facts.
I'm a
Ali Luna, shut up.
there we go. So I didn't see any more from the patron members, so we're gonna take a look at the. I did see one. Oh, we got one.
Like a multiple from the chat. The
Yes.
YouTube chat.
Thank you, Ice. See, we're not going to answer that third one because I feel like that one's not really going to be for
Yeah,
this
we're not going to talk
particular
about
one. We might talk about it in a future podcast, but not this one. We'll start with the. Let's see, what are y'all's thoughts on VTubers in the Brony fandom? Honestly, like, if I can swing it, I'm gonna do something like that too.
Like
Yep.
what was
Same.
what was
I
her,
already have a
I tried making
VTuber
a
model
model.
drawn out.
what was her name? The
Same.
popular VTuber that's
Becky
going
Cutie?
on right now. No. She has like a kind of a minty green and white OC.
Redtail.
Are you talking
Yes,
about Phoenix
there we
Redtail?
go. Yes, like I'm gonna be
Techie Cutie
honest.
is also one.
Techie Cutie.
Yeah.
No,
She
So
started
if you go-
out pony tubing, and then she's expanded to anime and stuff. But yeah,
If P and G tubers count, I'm pretty sure that all of us here are now P and G tubers now.
I like
I mean,
I like Stellar Eclipse. I think he has a cute VTuber model.
yeah, I think that honestly, like VTubing is something that is good for the fandom because it also lowers the barrier of entry for content creation. Because that is something
does.
that a lot of people like. I will probably say several times throughout HarmonyCon, and I have in the past, just do it. But for some people, it's a lot harder than it sounds.
Just do it.
They don't know what they want to do. But like VTubing over like video games is like an easy one to start with. So it's not a bad one to like it gives a easier barrier of entry. It gives like you can do a simple PNG tuber version of it where it's like really cheap compared to like the fancy rigged models that everybody thinks of when you say VTuber.
Yeah, which requires like IR camera tracking and whatnot, expensive stuff.
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, that's the only
So
version
to
I'm thinking of.
add on to that, really, like the only thing that limits you is your internet connection, is how good of an internet connection you have, and even then, you could still make content like by using your VTuber as kind of an avatar. Okay, so the funny thing, like we mentioned PNG tubers, that was a huge thing in the fandom. Like Ali Luna, you're one of the ones here that has like the fat set of like pony what are they called?
That's slightly different.
I know it's slightly different,
So-
but it's
I have a
kind of
bunch
an
of
ancestor to
vectors.
it. It's the vector thing. It's kind of an ancestor to that.
Yeah.
That's essentially what I do. Is like, if you've ever seen some of my edited videos where I have like my character up there, I'm switching back and forth between character stills to simulate movement, to simulate like it, like I'm actually the character moving, and like stuff like that's been a fandom for like forever.
Yeah, that's the stuff that I do in most of my theories.
Yeah,
I'm gonna.
it
Go ahead.
for creators like me and Wind, it gives a level of anonymity without having to like sacrifice something for the viewers to actually see, and not having to like only have like clips and whatnot, and it shows expression, and it's something for people to recognize us by. Because like,
if you wanted true anonymity, you should have done a non-Philly.
Yeah, because wait, what?
nah.
What?
What were you gonna say, Wind, before you got distracted?
Yeah, because like I'm gonna say though, Vector, like back to what you were saying about what was it, Vtubing? That seems a lot better to do in the long run because vector arts, I'm gonna be honest, that my videos usually took me like anywhere from a week to 3 weeks to finish, depending on how long it was, and that's just like editing, just getting all the vectors in the right place and everything like that.
Oh yeah, no, don't get me wrong. Like the whole PNG tuber thing now probably makes that whole process a lot easier if you know how to do it. It's just you gotta know how to do it. It's not always that easy.
Comparative to like making a full-on like VTuber model, I feel like PNG tuber like assets and stuff is like 10 times easier to make. And like
the assets, yeah.
Like there are programs out there that actually allow you to set up like different like emotes and such if you wanted to switch between each of like the sets of PNG tubers things.
There are also some people out there that do the PNG tuber that they actually have rigged models. They're like 2D, and I don't remember what program it's used in, but like they have puppet models is what they call them.
Yeah.
Oh, I know. I think I know which program you're talking about, but I can't remember the name either. It's one of the. Isn't it like
oh, sorry.
So it's sorry. Isn't it like the same thing that
Live 2D?
Oh, never mind then.
No, I think though, because I know it was. I believe. Oh, Silver Quill does it, and I think he's using like an Adobe like type software.
Adobe Flash?
It might
be. That's not around anymore.
It might have been.
Adobe Animate.
But yeah, I believe Silver Quill was using something like that at one point.
Well, go ask him at the con.
You know what? I might. But we're gonna go ahead and move to the next question that was posed, and I'm gonna address this one first. Should the people of the fandom make the fandom a safe place for everyone on the fandom? I say yes, and I'll expound on that a little bit. With this fandom, we're a very welcoming fandom as is, but like making it a place that like just about anybody can enjoy. Like, I'm not saying going out of our way to make one group or another feel safe. Just making it a place where anybody can come hang out and enjoy themselves is like a good way to continue growing the fandom. If we're gatekeepy about it, like I used to be in the Undertale fandom. I'm still a fan of Undertale, but I have seen people basically get into fistfights over which Sans from the extended fan universe is better. And like, if you didn't have the right opinion, they would scream at you. There were streamers getting death threats because they did genocide runs for views. Like, it was, they got nasty. And I've heard the FNAF fandom can be just as bad, if not worse. Our fandom, like, yeah, we have some bad actors in the fandom and some people that really shouldn't be here. But, like, in the long run, we make a safe and welcoming environment for all comers. Doesn't matter your opinion, doesn't matter. All you have to do is like ponies. You don't even actually have to create for ponies. You don't have to go to conventions. As long as you're in a group of people that are fellow pony lovers, that's all it takes to be part of the fandom. So, yeah, I do think that making the fandom a safe space for everybody is important.
So if I may continue that thought, because I've had some pretty in-depth experience with the negative side of the fandom when it comes to that. You gonna give me permission to talk about that nameless one?
Keep it SFW.
Well, of course. So there was like one of the things that I think this fandom forgets is the old meme of love and tolerate. And that friendship is magic, because a lot of times when I see like something that someone disagrees with, or like something major or whatever, or maybe most of the time it's political, but sometimes it's not. Usually you see a bunch of people go after the dude, run him off, and then there he goes, you know? And for the record, those people don't just disappear. They just make a new account, come back, and still do the same thing. So, or they go to places which will accept them, like /MLP, and they become kind of radicalized, to be honest. And so I think that this fandom, while it is very generally accepting of, say, LGBTQ stuff, I don't think that it's always as tolerant as it like really pretends to be, and it really should be more. Something that I feel is lacked a lot in this fandom is the idea of forgiveness, and that like, and I think that's just in the world in general. People don't understand that when you forgive someone, you're not telling them, or you're not saying that what they did is okay. You're just not letting it hurt you anymore, and you're not going to let it weigh you down anymore and live rent-free in your head. And so, like, a lot of people can be very, very unforgiving in this fandom. Like, if someone does something wrong, you know, like, people may not want to... Huh?
I have something that I can like bring up to that.
Sure.
So some of you may or may not have heard of the creator Tootsie Forever. And in I think it was my first HarmonyCon that it happened. So 2021, I believe. Somebody tried to frame him for doing terrible things with someone else's plushie. It was just awful looking the way that they put it up there, because anybody that collects plushies was going to look at it and go, that's not what he was carrying. That's not even the same maker. What do you think you're doing? But there were still a lot of people that were ready to jump on him without really verifying anything. Little Shy actually made an absolutely amazing video explaining why it was, like, why they were wrong about it. But I have heard occasionally whispers of like people that still think that he did something wrong, and they won't let it go. And
yeah, and something that's kind of controversial to say, but like Wubcake, for instance. Now, I'm not going to say Wubcake is innocent, because she's not. But like bringing up the stuff that she did 7 years ago that everybody's already addressed. Not the Jinnabun stuff, but like the stuff with like when she like said something bad to some cancer patients, like GoFundMe or something, right? You know, she had people had gotten onto her about that a long time ago. She'd already apologized for it. She had not done something like that since then. It should have been left in the dirt, right? It should have been left there, water under the bridge, but it got dragged up again, and I don't think that that's right. I don't think you should judge someone if they're a different person. And period. Really, you really shouldn't judge someone for the actions that they did.
So,
you know, 5 or 6 years ago, especially when they're like a teenager, because people change quite a lot. That isn't me defending her, but that's just an example.
Hold on, I got a succinct kind of example for like what you're talking about, and his name is Discord. If you remember, he did some pretty shitty things during his time as like just rambling around doing whatever he felt like. And then like afterwards people forgave him and he learned. He may not have learned a lot, and he may still make mistakes, but that's kind of like a
He might
general.
still be an ass.
Yeah, and here's
just a bit.
here's my philosophy with this, right? And I'm not going to get into it, but I've actually seen the opposite of this. So if your reaction to someone bad in the fandom is to like destroy them on Twitter and call them out and then like ban them from your communities, all you've done is you've pushed that person out of your good influence and then pushed them towards people who are going to be more of a bad influence to them. I've seen that actually happen in this fandom with massive amounts of people during the whole Derpy Brew incident. And so, however, the opposite is true. If you stick around that person, and I've seen this with people too, you stick around that person and you be that good influence and you love them, and you tolerate them, it doesn't mean you agree with what they say, but your goal is to be a good example to them. They will either A, leave you and you'll cut it off because it gets toxic, or B, they will start to change. And generally, I have seen people generally change for the better.
And this is the last thing we're going to say on this before we move to the next question. But
I have something to say.
well, I'll let you say it because you haven't been talking as much. What do you got to say?
Okay, so I generally agree with what you were saying earlier, Nameless, about how we should be more accepting of everyone else. But I also believe that one crucial thing that everyone out there that's a content creator and stuff like that searches YouTube and everything like that, please label your videos appropriately. That is the number one thing that gets people to, I guess you can say, kind of look differently on the fandom, you know? Label them appropriately.
I think I kind of know what you're talking about with like the Turkey Tom video is one that I think of where it like makes us sound like a bunch of horrendous people. Yeah, I can understand that. But I'm gonna say this last bit, and we're gonna move to the next question. With all of like the forgiveness and everything, as a fandom, we all should work towards being able to do that kind of stuff. Yes, watch the people that have screwed up, but like a way to kill off a fandom is essentially to like run off all of the big people with big names that are creating things, because then the little people with little names go, well, if I get too big, they might try to find something to run me off again.
I agree with that.
And if we show the tolerance and ability to forgive, not forget, but forgive, and to be able to like go in with somebody, it's like, you screwed up, but we'll give you another chance. Now, if it's a repeated offender, yeah, they're not learning anything. They need to go elsewhere to learn. But as far as it goes for like stuff like we'll use Webcakes again as an example like that 7 years ago, and it gets brought back up, you probably need to like pump the brakes on that one and make sure it's like not something that's you're just digging up old dirt to dig up old dirt. Anyways, we're going to go to the next question, which is from Crescent Paw Studios. Hold on, I'm trying to decipher this.
Whoa.
Okay, so
think of Prince Whatever and other music makers doing the best to make MLP.
Yeah.
Music?
I'm going to say that we're probably altering the original intention of this, but basically thoughts on people remixes. That's what I'm looking for. Thoughts on remixes from people like Prince Whatever and whatnot. And I'll go first, but honestly, like for real, Prince Whatever is awesome. I love his. He did a cover of what was the name of it? Smells Like Teen Spirit, and he called it Smells Like Cult Spirit. That was a pretty awesome song. Like he did a really good job with that, and he also has done. What was that song that Princess Coloratura, I think it was? The one that
Which one? Wait, are you talking about when she?
the Lady Gaga sounding one.
It's Spectacle.
Yeah, Spectacle.
He did a version of that like he did it with his voice and basically just made it longer, and it was perfect.
He also did a pony version of the Bowling for Soup song 1985 called When Twilight Learned to Fly.
Yep.
I think I've heard that
also
one.
Really good.
As someone whose roommate, spouse, whatever you want to call him, is an everyday listener to Prince Whatever, I know of his stuff, and he's sitting there right now jamming to it while I'm doing this. But I'm gonna be honest, I'm not really here for the music side, but his stuff is fire. Some of his stuff is fire. Like, I think his Hypa is like my favorite thing to jam out to.
He'll be at HarmonyCon.
I know. I'll be in the back with my headphones drawing.
Yep.
But DJ will be in the will be banging his head. Like I said, I'm not really here for the music.
They're bringing Basket
the
again.
music.
They're bringing back Biscuit again this year. I'm gonna be in the mosh pit.
Who's Biscuit?
Metal artist.
Well, that should be interesting.
So, I'm probably the one here that actually doesn't like Prince Whatever. Not that I like hate him as a person. I don't prefer listening to his music. I just prefer the EDM side of the fandom. But I just wanted to touch on remixes in the fandom. Like, remixes have, at least for a long time, have been the life of the fandom in many ways, and like the music side of the fandom. And I personally feel like, go ahead.
Just think about who some of the biggest names in the fandom are.
The Living Tombstone.
Exactly.
The Wooden Toaster.
Yes.
Mike the Micro. Well, he didn't really remix stuff, but he sang.
Silverhound.
Silverhound.
Forever Free.
Yes.
Forever Free Brony.
Forever Free's rendition of Hallelujah is beautiful.
Oh my god, it makes me cry.
See, Phony Brony.
I love it.
There's others, but I just think that, like, honestly, like, the pony voices, they make good instruments. That's just all I'm really gonna say on that. They make really good instruments, and I wish that there were more voice actors, Ali Luna, that would actually sing in songs like that and like would do vocal chopping. It would be really cool. Looking at you, Ali Luna. Anywho.
Allie's getting called out. Okay. We like it.
I don't even know what I'm being called out for.
Not singing.
Yeah.
I try to, I'm just not good.
How much does it cost?
Get good.
Fuck you.
Yeah, actually, that's a really good. Ice just brought up a really good. Like, he was just saying for personal experience, but Rainbow Factory, Discord, in September are 3 songs that you could probably throw at anybody that's been on the internet for more than a month, and they've probably heard of it, whether they're Brony or not.
I don't know about y'all, but I can't remember.
Discord.
Especially
Discord. In September.
I can't remember what happened. Sorry.
Yeah, like,
Discord is actually the thing that brought me into the Brony fandom.
Yeah,
the Mr. DeLoop's kinetic topography of the Discord thing, man. I love that stuff.
Yeah, and like a lot of people don't realize just how big our music scene by itself is.
It's Gynanomosaurus.
I also want to mention that from personal experience, as I have commissioned many pieces of music from various creators, there are a lot of musicians out there that are just tiny because nobody knows they exist, but they have some amazing stuff. I'm thinking of Shire's a really good one. I don't know how small Shire is, but like some really good stuff.
Dude, Shire is a legend, man. Oh
Nameless.
gosh,
Nameless. What was
Cadenza
the
Heart Song, if you
what
really
was
like
the name?
orchestral stuff.
I've heard of
What was
Cadenza.
What was the name of the person that sung that song in your recent video?
Oh yeah, the most recent stream I did was done by 3 different artists. We had a voice actor doing the singing, Kitty. I have all of their socials linked in that video. We also had the Blue Brony, or I think it's the Blue Brony. I know it's Blue Brony, but I don't know if it's the Blue Brony.
Just call him Blue Brony.
But yeah, Blue Brony and Ethan Tovis. So, like, there are lots and lots and lots of different musicians out there. The only side of the fandom that absolutely dwarfs them is the artists. And this is, like, as somebody who is, like, looking at new creators all the time, it's just like, I'd like to invite all of these artists to the server that I have, but good lord, they pop up like 100 a day.
Pop up like weeds, bro. They're so fast.
And
Proud to be a weed.
I also want to say, like, as somebody who's been in different fandoms, we have some of the most talented artists, honestly. Like, the furry fandom is the one that I would say competes the most with us for artist talent.
I will say this.
I would agree.
I don't listen to the radio anymore. I hate the radio. I think it's like it's all the songs sound the same. They all talk about the same thing generally. And like, man, I want to hear about Carrot Top and her garden. You know, that's a cool song. You know,
Yeah.
That is
like,
true.
and
She
like,
was stoned to death.
yeah. Actually, she was burned to death.
Oh, sorry, yeah, burned.
But
Worse.
like it's interesting music. I really prefer the only 2 genres of music I listen to is Christian music or Brony music, and that's it. So like
That sounds like 2 opposites.
no, I mean they're all very
Brony here
positive.
with Brony music and emo, sort of like rock music.
Oh,
I'm
so
gonna be
you listen to
honest.
Prince whatever too.
I mainly just listen to the EDM side of it.
Same.
I'm into that. You listen to Phony Brony?
See, that is an absolutely gargantuan section of the music section of the fandom.
Oh, it's huge.
Because you've got like people like John Kenza, you've got Faulty, you've got Silverhound falls into that. If you like Eurobeat in that section of the fandom, like you've got Eurobeat Brony or whatever they've renamed themselves to this
Odyssey.
time. Is that what it's now?
Yeah, it's Odyssey Eurobeat.
I just know that it
Just
feels like
added a word.
it feels like they have a different name every time I see them. But either way, like it is an absolutely gargantuan size portion of the fandom. The artists and the musicians are the 2 biggest sections of our fandoms, creator-wise.
Yeah, and they're not dying. And
I'm
if I
not
may,
dead.
if there's no like other questions, Nameless, I'd like to segue into another topic that's to the is the fandom dead topic.
Well, before we do that, because I'm assuming you're wanting to start talking about the other stuff that I said I'd save for the end.
No, I want to talk about algorithms.
You can do that as long as you keep it fairly brief. I'm just going to make sure. Do we have moderators? Do we have any other questions that were popped up or? See. Okay, so that was the last one. So I think we're going to close the question segment. And then we'll let try to keep it brief, Saf, and then I'll get into the stuff that I was going to save for the end.
It's okay. You can say we'll let Saf rant. You can say that. It's fine. I'm not offended. But anyway, like the algorithms, okay? And Compute's with me on this because she's found ways to like get past the algorithms. I feel like the algorithms on social medias greatly attribute to the feeling like there's not that much pony content sometimes. Especially so for me personally, I was very privacy oriented in like 2020-ish, and so I wouldn't have any YouTube history. I'd delete all my cookies, all that type of stuff. I'd really make sure that websites weren't being able to track me, just because I didn't like that. And so the thing is that I wouldn't get recommended any type of videos. And of course, if you search My Little Pony or Brony nowadays on YouTube, without the algorithm actually curtailing it to your like preferences, you're just going to get a bunch of official stuff from Hasbro. And so I feel like one of the big things, not just on YouTube, but on Twitter and maybe even DeviantArt, I don't know how they work, and whatnot, like unless you're already subscribed to a person or someone shares that person with you, like you are very unlikely to see any type of new pony creator that pops up unless you already have, like, you've already been searching for that stuff and it's just going to hand it to you anyways. Which is why places, calling you out, Melee, which is why places like Derpy Brew are very important, because they don't have that type of stuff. When you first upload your art, it goes on the front page and it stays there, you know, for as long as until it gets bumped off of the front page. And so it's very nice for, I've actually went to Derpy Brew and scouted for people to be like 3D modelers for Dimensional Shift through that, just by looking for 3D art. And so it's in places like Pony FM, which is unfortunately kind of small, but Pony.fm is also a place to go find new music from Bronies all the time. But I think, unfortunately, the algorithm really does contribute to the fact that, like, you sometimes just cannot find new pony stuff unless you're actively looking for it all the time, and that's tiring to do that, to be honest. So, yeah, that's my piece.
I think I had to do that same thing for Theorist when I was looking for new Theorist and stuff to watch.
What, you went and like forced watched a bunch of theorists and then it finally started recommending you other theorists?
I forced searched. I went hours searching YouTube for new theorists.
So, before we get to the closing bit, I'm going to discuss a little bit about some of the stuff that I've been working on with Saf, Ali, and Cup's help, actually.
Whoa.
So, first off, I now am heading up a server known as the MLP Creator Hub. It's a server that we're looking for new creators all the time, and the prerequisite is primarily like don't have anything major that you're known for being problematic for, and make pony content, and that's it. It's a great place for creators to have a safe place to be able to like talk to other creators. And if that encourages some of you to start creating, get a good bit out there. Like, throw yourself out there. Enjoy yourself. Creating is fun. It's hard.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. But creation, like content creation, is a lot of fun. Ask Peruser, Melee, Cup, Ali, and any of them can tell you. YouTube win.
What?
Content creation. It is fun. Yes?
Yeah.
Depending on the day.
I'm drawing right now as we do this.
Woo.
I love what I do.
To be honest, I
It's
zoned
so
out there.
fun. Same.
And to add to that, like it's what I've been calling an ego-free place. Like, you know, when you come there, you're gonna see a bunch of big names. If you're invited there, you're gonna see a bunch of big names. But like, you know, they're just people. They're just people like you and me. We're all creating stuff. We're all part of this fandom. You know, there isn't any sort of competition here, and you're not somehow too small to be there or whatever, right? It's, you know, you're there because you create stuff. That's okay. Just keep creating and collaborate. Like, Minty Root will literally pop into the voice chat a lot, and we'll sit there and explain to you how to do stuff. And sometimes, you know, he'll just keep going, man. It's like, man, I might as well start recording this and put it on YouTube for a YouTube tutorial, you know?
And like
If he hasn't already.
I know,
And
right?
like, don't be afraid to reach out to people too, because some of us are shy and we don't naturally communicate
Everybody
as well as
bother
others.
Peruser. Everybody bother Peruser. He needs to be bothered. He's especially good at making plushes, so bother him for that a lot. The more the
I
merrier.
I wouldn't have figured you were shy. It's almost like you have a Fluttershy plushie as your profile picture.
Nah.
He's
No,
also
that
got
can't
his
be it.
socials in the description, so like you can go and find him on DeviantArt and Twitter, and tell him that you want him to make you a plushie.
Keep in mind, while a lot of us are shy and stuff, we're also pretty chill. So
I hide
Don't-
the shyness through violence.
I'm not chill. I am a violent
Seth,
tornado.
Seth's
okay,
lying.
avoid them. But
Seth. I will say, as
Allie's a
someone who
gremlin.
was fuck off, as someone who was invited to the creator hub and was my immediate thing was like seeing all these big creators. I did not talk at all. I didn't even make an introduction because there is an introduction channel. I just stood there and I was like, I don't belong here.
Same.
Just you
But-
And
do.
now she works for me.
Yeah, now she's a gremlin.
Yay!
A sherbet gremlin.
I am not a gremlin, but
You
Absolutely
are
a
a sherbet
gremlin.
ice cream.
hold on, is that her title in the server?
Yes.
Like,
She's the
not my
gremlin gun.
choice.
Anyways,
Not
I
my
mean,
And
it's
I'm
your
gonna
official
type
title,
in whatever
so it
that is.
has to be true.
It is
I'm
true.
afraid to look at what my title is.
I mean, just look at your eyebrows. I mean, they can't see it on the stream, but I can see it here. I mean, look at those eyebrows. Darn.
anyways, I'm also going to bring up for those of you that are creating and would like a new resource. There is this thing called the Pony Voice Index. For those of you that
.com.
can't find any of the stuff that you want to for voices, like you feel like there are no voice actors, or you want to poke somebody, but all you know is like the really big names, and it's like you've got like 100 subscribers. These people will be more than happy to lend their voices to projects, and they have said as much before. I will have a pinned comment if either I'll comment it or I'll have Saf comment it, so that I can pin that and Daily Dose of Pony.
You'll need to comment it because YouTube now like censors links. It won't even show you that there was a comment there. It just automatically censors
I see.
external links.
Okay,
So-
then I will post the links for it then.
And on the
Yeah.
so the pony voice index, it's ponyvoiceindex.com. That there's another service that comes with that. So just can I give a little bit of backstory about it, just a smidgen?
Give a little bit, but also don't set
Bill Nash.
set expectations.
What?
If you're talking about what I think you're talking about, you can't. You don't have the funds right now.
Oh yeah, no. So it's all of this is still a work in progress. So I'm just gonna say that. So I developed this because voice AIs are probably one of the most popular AIs in the fandom, in this fandom. Comparatively, of course, not the art
artists
AIs.
are so much easier to find than voice actors.
And there's three reasons that I've found why people go to voice AIs. One, they can't find a voice actor. Two, if they find a voice actor, they can't contact them because they don't have any contact around. Three, if they can contact them, they can't afford them. And I'm developing programs to solve all three of those problems. The first two are solved by the Pony Voice Index. The Pony Voice Index has an updated list of all of the contacts for those people, multiple contact methods. It has links to their social media so you can see what their voices are like, etc., and even shows their rates. And then there's another thing called rarityproject.org. Now, granted, this isn't something that's fully ready to launch yet, but what this is people will donate to Rarity Project, and then Rarity Project will take that money and first come, first serve, hand that to people who need it. Instead of like going to AI to use it, we can pay the voice actor directly. You know, we don't pay the person, but we pay the voice actor directly, and they, you know, they can get those voice lines instead of going to AI. And it doesn't have to be just voices; it can be art too. Really anything, as long as it's not NSFW. We're not really ready to launch that just yet because there's not that much funds in the bank with that. So if you'd like to donate, that would be very appreciative.
Again, links will be in the the pinned comment for that.
But it's absolutely a non-profit thing. I just want to help people, and everyone here wants to help other people too. So
the last bit is if you want to be part of the audience in the stage for this, you'll get priority on actually being able to like ask questions. You'll be able to recommend both topics that we could possibly do as well as creators that you would like to see on the podcast, because I'm going to continue doing this. As far as I'm concerned, this has been a massive success. So we're going to continue doing this, and I'm going to be adding more and more different creators that'll come on and they'll chat, and some of them might stick around and some of them might not. You'll be able to not only see like the behind the scenes of everybody getting set up for everything, but also for the actual, like, you can make suggestions, you can make for topics as well as for people that you would like to see on it, so guests of honor. And then I will also be making announcements for patrons first, so you guys will know ahead of time who I have planned. This was kind of more last minute than I meant it to be, so that's why this one did not come with that initial announcement, given that it is the very first time we've done it.
We're the guinea pigs.
But yeah, other than that, I would like remind everybody, don't forget to check out the Patreon, the Discord. You can, because the Discord itself is free for anybody to enter. There's just Patreon sections of it. That's also where all of my players for my campaigns are. If you are interested in my campaigns, be sure to check those out. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, ring the notification bell, all of that good stuff. Big thank you to my priest tier patrons, Cameo Shadowness, Scarmix, Ice Crystal, Ishi, Equinox 3141, and Trailblazer. I feel like Go ahead.
Sorry. I just want to mention there was one more question just asked.
Let's see. What is...
I can copy and paste it in that chat real quick.
Oh, absolutely, yes. I just found the question. That HarmonyCon, we already have plans, so yeah.
We do?
We do?
Maybe not. Well,
you were part of the planning. You were there when me and Golly were talking about it.
Look, what?
I'm pretty sure there was a one-off joke about it, but nothing was actually planned.
I don't... You'll have to refresh me on this later, Boyle. So
later.
Later.
Other than that, I also want to point out the voice mod in the description. I've got an affiliate link and a discount code for those of you interested. If you've seen my streams and like how I can do the different voices and the music in the background, that is how I do it. It's an amazing program. It is also a good tool for those who are just starting out with stuff like streaming to help clean up audio, as well as like give you the ability to like change voices and have background music without having too much extra hassle. Other than that, I hope everybody has a great evening and drink water. And before we actually fully sign off, I'm gonna have everybody that's one of the guests. We're all gonna do a "We're Still Here" at the count of 3. Are you ready? That means you have to unmute, Ali.
We're still here? Is that what we just say? We're still here?
Saying that?
Is it
Yes,
like on the count?
Oh,
like
I
on
get it.
3 or after 3?
After 3.
Okay.
Are we ready? Is everybody ready? Cup, Peruser,
Every pony ready?
I'm
No.
never ready.
Yep.
Melee, Cup.
I'm
Yeah,
being
yes.
forced to be ready, so I'm ready.
Okay. So on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. We're still here. I had to wait for the Discord. Anyways, everybody have a great evening and don't forget to drink water.
You know what that means. Fish.
See you guys.